how can you stop suppressing your feelings and your emotions? Especially if you've been doing it for a long time, right? And if you've been stuffing your emotions for practically your entire life, what's that going to look like when they finally start coming out? Well, probably what you're imagining is that's going to look pretty ugly because you don't even know what's down in there. And then if that just comes out and just whoosh, just explodes all over everyone, you don't want that. And just so this doesn't get really ugly on you, I want to help you with it today. I want to give you a better understanding of what's really going on as to why it is that you do suppress your emotions and your feelings. And then also give you some tips on the direction that you need to move in order to be able to pay attention to what it is you're feeling and to be able to express those to others and get what it is that you need from them and from those relationships. Let me introduce myself. My name is Tawnya Kordenbrock. I am the person behind arenewedlife.com. And for years, I was a licensed professional clinical counselor with a private practice. But right now, I'm doing emotions coaching online through my Mastering Emotions program with women. And I teach them how to rewire their brains so that they can break free from fear, anger, and shame to be able to love themselves and to feel loved by others. So right now, before we go any further, would you please hit that subscribe button so that you can get more of these teachings? And stay tuned till the end because I do have a free resource that I want to tell you about. Now, as we get started, let's first look at what happens to you when you suppress your emotions. Because emotions they're meant to be expressed. That's why they're there. They are signaling you that something is wrong or that there's something more that you need. And if they are not expressed, then first of all, it's going to take a lot of energy to keep them down. And the way I like to describe this is like an inflated beach ball. And when you push it down underwater, it takes a lot of energy to get that down, keep it down under the water, doesn't it? And of course, what you're afraid of is your emotions are going to go that pop up out of the water like that ball would do, which they can. If you suppress your emotions, they do have a tendency to burst out and then come out in ugly ways. And then you end up not getting what it is that you actually need because it's not very effective that way. But if you continue with suppressing your emotions and just stuffing them down, then it's very likely to also impact your health. That is very common. And a lot of times women with autoimmune illnesses, this is part of what's going on with them, that they, because of past hurts and whatever has happened to them, that they learned to suppress their emotions, and then it's impacting them in this way. Now, also, it's going to impact your relationships, because if you think about it, if you are not coming into a relationship, if you're not showing up with your real emotions, then you're not showing up with the real you. And so the other person is getting cheated out of the wholeness of who you are. But then also, you are getting cheated. You are getting cheated out of a relationship where you can know that you really can be loved for who you are. And so that's a sad place to be in, don't you think? Now, if you're going to learn how to stop suppressing your emotions and feelings, then it's important that you understand why it is you do this. And probably what you're going to tell me is, well, it's because it causes too much trouble. If I actually speak up and say how I feel, then the other person's going to get angry and it's going to get ugly, or they're not going to care. People don't care about how I feel. Or you may feel guilty about the feelings that you do have, and you consider it your role just to make sure that everyone else is happy. And so you forget about your own emotions. But there's a reason why you believe that. And this is because this developed in the early years of your life because of hurtful situations that were going on. Perhaps these hurtful situations, it was just so constant that you didn't even notice that it wasn't normal. Maybe you still don't. Maybe you don't realize the impact that an alcoholic parent had on you, or being pushed around by siblings all the time, or even being, having just a lot of chaos in your household for various reasons, or grief that continued on for a long period of time. What all of these situations have in common is the inability of the people around you to honor your emotions and to help you to be able to work through them. But instead, if you expressed your emotions, then you were met with some type of a judgment that you were stupid for feeling the way that you did, or you were being childish, perhaps you were being selfish, or you would express how you felt and then there was more violence, and you quickly came to understand that it was not safe or good, at the least, to express how it was that you were feeling. Because either you got hurt even worse by expressing that, or the people around you did not have the skills or the mental, emotional capacity to be able to attend to you adequately. And so, because our emotions don't just go away, and as a child, you really don't, you have to do something with them. That's what I was going to say. Because our emotions don't go away, you have to do something with them. Then as a child, you don't have very many resources. You can't just say, well, okay, if no one's going to care about my feelings, then I'm out of here. You can't do something like that. Pretty much the only skill that you have is to turn back in on yourself. And so then you begin to believe that no one cares about how you feel. You begin to believe that your emotions are dangerous, that they're not right. They're either too strong, or they are selfish. You're being bad for having feelings. And so then it makes sense to learn to hold them in, to stuff them down, and not express them, to not even pay attention to them yourself sometimes. But also, especially to not express them, but also to believe that they aren't right. Now let's look at how you can actually stop suppressing your emotions and your feelings. First of all, with this, you do have to address that fear. And that's why I just gave you my prior 2 points. You have to be able to understand that you're going to be fearful of how the emotions are going to come out, because in the beginning, you're not going to know how to express them. And they're going to be strong because you haven't learned how to decrease the intensity of your emotions. Now, this is something you should have learned in childhood, but you didn't. And so it makes sense that you would fear them. So one of the first things that you have to do is to recognize that fear. and say, yes, there it is. And tell look at what are you telling yourself about your emotions. Notice it. Notice that you're saying that my emotions are bad. My emotions are too powerful. My emotions are going to cause trouble. And just being able to say that actually helps to decrease the intensity somewhat. The more you practice this, the more it will decrease it. But you may want to get some professional help on working with decreasing the fear and the intensity of your emotions. And this is exactly what I help women to do in my Mastering Emotions program. And a lot of my teachings, if you'll look at my other videos, you'll see that a lot of my other teachings are about this same topic. So how do you learn how to express your emotions? Well, first of all, you have to, just like someone who is stuffing themselves with food, you're stuffing your emotions. You're pushing those down. It's like someone who is stuffing themselves with food. One of the first steps for stopping that habit is to notice that they're doing it. To, in a non-judgmental way, just to become aware of, oh, look at me right now. I am just reaching for this popcorn and munching, 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 and there's just no stopping point for me. That is helpful for gaining awareness and changing the pattern of how you respond to emotions. But that's just a first step. And then from there, you want to be able to slow down enough to recognize what emotions you are feeling. And in the beginning, anger is going to be at the top of the list. And it is going to want to come out. So that's why I'm telling you to get some help with that part of it. But then from there, you also want to look at and learn how to recognize all of the beliefs that go along with your emotions that have caused you to keep them suppressed. All of those beliefs about yourself, that you're unlovable, that something is wrong with you, beliefs about others, that no one is safe, no one can be trusted, that no one will be available for you. And all of this goes out toward God too. Your beliefs about God, that God just made you the way that you are, which your belief is that it's bad, or that God is having a critical look toward you, that you have the feelings that you have. And so having this non-critical judgment, toward yourself is very helpful. And as you begin recognizing these beliefs, it's almost like the way I describe to my online members is you're kind of like a reporter, just standing outside of yourself and looking and just saying, oh, look at her, taking notes. Look at her, what she's doing, feeling the way that she's feeling. She's having these emotions. And then, oh, look, she's telling herself this. And then look at, oh, what happens when she tells herself that? Oh, she just totally shuts down. Look at her. And so this is something that I help women with, and then you are more than welcome to check that out. But for today, I have a free mini course that you are welcome to sign up for, and it's an email course. It's called 15 Meditation Verses for Renewing Self-Image, and it will help you to gain more awareness of what is going on inside of you. Because if you're not aware of this, then you're not going to be able to change this whole pattern. I hope you found this helpful. Please give me a thumbs up, share this with others. If you have any questions, leave those below also, and I will be sure to get back with you. Have a great day.